Hi, this is part 2 of the Street Preacher Delusion. First, I'd like to say, if you are a King James only believer and you don't want to be corrected, then this is not your channel. If you believe that you can base your doctrines on your modern English Bibles, this is not your channel. This channel is for those who like to study beyond the mainstream doctrines. This is not another channel just repeating the Sunday school teachings. This channel is for those who already have advanced in biblical understanding and in biblical history. So I was not really expecting that Phillip Blair fans and David Lynn fans would come on and immediately started to attack, because they say he preaches nothing but truth. No, he doesn't preach truth. He preaches what you already believe to be true. Yeah, but Chris, they are preaching against the gay parades and the LGBTQ. Does that mean that you agree with the LGBTQ? Don't you hate sin, Chris? First of all, I never once said that I think it's okay to sin. Of course, it's good to go against sin. And we see that our nations are being destroyed. We have let other peoples with other gods in. We have the LGBTQ. We have the woke movement. The economy is going down. And I can go on and on. But all these street preachers do is preach against the consequences of something they believe wrongly. Just like in politics, these so-called conservative Republicans, they bring people into their temples to question them about the evil the Democrats are doing. But nothing ever changes. Haven't you noticed that nothing is changing? The same way these street preachers don't change anything. All they do is sometimes they bring people into this mainstream church, but still as a nation we are falling down. Because they think the kingdom is only within the walls of a church, right? And many churches sold out to the system. They cannot even be involved in politics, right? But it is all about heaven, right? Just like the false songs. This is not my home, I'm just passing through. And Christians are willfully or ignorantly given away the inheritance God gave them. Because yes, Jesus said the kingdom is inside of you. But don't you think if the kingdom is inside of you, it will also express in the real world? No, they have made Christianity weak. We are being overrun by other peoples with other gods. Christians have become a weak people who only focus on a personal salvation, so they will fly up to heaven. And all this is the cause of false teachings. Do you think if real Christians are governing this country that we have $3-4 gas prices? Do you think all these things would happen if we have true rulership? But of course, we are not supposed to be involved, right? Because this is not our home. And in the meanwhile, your grandson or your granddaughter will come home with a guy called Muhammad. But what do you care, right? Because we just try to convert them. The problem lays in false doctrines, false Roman Catholic universal doctrine that is bringing us as a group, set apart people, down. People don't know who they are anymore, and it is just a big mess. And I think we are beyond the point that we can help ourselves. Only God can have a divine intervention in this. Yes, at this point God can only help us. Jesus said, the truth shall make you free. But we are losing our freedom more and more every day, because Christians just sit back, allow this evil to happen. They don't even see it, right? Because they think they're going to be raptured away anyway, right? While God gave us a role to play. We have to create God's kingdom on earth. We are supposed to be the sons of God, the representatives of God. But all we do is focus on other people, try to convert everybody, and people like David Lynn have a heavy case of identity crisis. He's an African man born in Canada, so he doesn't know who he is. He identifies himself as a Canadian, right? That's because they have changed the definition of what a nation is. Because the biblical understanding of a nation is a group of people of the same kind. This word ethnos was also used for flocks of animals, the same animals in one flock. But they changed the definition, just like they did in the past, that it can be a multitude of different people, different races, and as long as they all believe the same universal Roman Catholic doctrines. Because the Reformed Church is basically the Roman Catholic Church rebranded. But if you think that this sounds racist, that means you have not the spirit of Christ, but you have adopted the spirit of Marxism. Yes, the spirit of Marxism has entered the church, which makes all people equal, all religions equal, everything is about humanitarianism. But this is not biblical. People are blind to the very racist words of God, right? A set apart people. God even wanted the Israelites to kill the Canaanites, men, women, children. But they don't know what it means. Oh, God was so mean in the Old Testament, but now Jesus is the good God who saves us from this evil God. This is all false doctrine. So they spiritualized everything, right? It's not about being a set apart people anymore. Anyone who believes something is now a set apart people. That's how they spiritualized many verses. And I made many videos explaining what the Bible really says when you read the King James about Jews and Greeks. What does it really mean, right? It takes away the cause of all these problems. And of course, like I already said, we should go against sins. But the street preachers, again, only preach about the consequences of something evil they don't want to look at. So let's take a look at Phillip Blair. Not because I have a personal grudge against him, like so many immediately assume, right? Because they all do the same thing. All of them. I just use him as an example, right? And I don't know if he is really a European man or that he has Jewish blood. I don't know. But he's preaching a false gospel and he's trying to convert devils. Yes, Jesus called the people who David Blair tries to convert devils. So let's take a look at this.
Or have you been cleansed of your sin? This can only be found through Yeshua HaMashiach. Teshuva Israel. Christian. But my friend, let me ask you, can I have a conversation with you? You are Jewish, my friend. Why are you not holding your brothers here in Israel accountable for the sin that Israel is in? We're going to celebrate wickedness and debauchery in Tel Aviv on June 8th. What are we doing? If you are a child of God, then why are you not standing for the holiness of God in Israel? My friends, is the blessings of God upon Israel? Have you turned away from the living God? Where is your heart today? Do the wrong to please God with your lifestyle. I love you, I care about you, and I want the blessings of God upon this city and upon this great nation. That you have been chosen by God as his people, not to puff you up in pride and arrogance, so that we love God, we love Elohim with all of our hearts, so that the blessings of Elohim can be on this great state of Israel. And I'm here because I love you and I want God to reveal and manifest his And I believe that this is made possible through the shedding of the blood
So this is
of
called
Yeshua
having
HaMashiach.
zeal, but without knowledge. David Blair doesn't seem to understand that Jesus Christ already reconciled the sheep of Israel 2,000 years ago. They left the scene. God destroyed the temple and God left the Middle East. So is it true that in 1948 the people of God would return to Israel? So this land, Palestine, became desolate places. It became a wasteland for dragons of the wilderness. So who are the people, according to the prophets, who would return to rebuild the desolate places? Malachi chapter 1. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said Yahweh. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. So it was Edom that would return to that land, that wilderness. Edom would return to the desolate places. So who is Edom? So God hated Esau and he loved Jacob. The promises went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. But the twin brother of Jacob, Esau, he was hated by God. God was very specific to Jacob not to intermarry Canaanite women, for they are of the bloodline of the enemies of God. They are the serpent seed. Esau didn't care much. He married Canaanite women, Hittite women, and also the daughters of Ishmael. So the generations, the offspring, the children of Esau would be south of Israel, and that land was going to be called Edom. So these Edomites were already a mix of different peoples, right? Even the sons of Ishmael are part of that mixture. From them also came the Arabs. That's why Islam and Talmudism is very similar. They are cousins. Arabs and Jews are bloodline related. But the kingdom of Israel was divided in the northern kingdom of Israel and in the southern kingdom of Judah. The northern kingdom of Israel started to worship idols. They went into idolatry, and God divorced them. And God caused the Assyrians to take the northern kingdom, which were basically the northern 10 tribes. Assyria would take them away. They became the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But Jesus came for, because all through the prophets it is promised that one day they will be reconciled. So you had only basically the tribes of Judah, Benjamin and Levite left in the southern kingdom of Judah. Even though, of course, there were also other people of the other tribes living there. But these were the main tribes remaining. But also the southern kingdom of Judah was not right with God. And the Assyrians also entered into Judah. The only city they did not conquer was Jerusalem. But it was the Babylonians who would take the people in Jerusalem captive and take them into bondage for 70 years. This is where the Edomites entered into the southern kingdom of Judah. They even worked together with Babylon, and they even rejoiced about all this. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be. He rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth the little ones against the stones. So it was not just Israelites in Babylon. Babylon took over the entire region, and many Edomites started to live in the southern kingdom of Judah. So I cannot go into every detail because this video will take hours, but the point is that by the time after 70 years the Israelites came back, it was already infested with Babylonian beliefs. So after the Edomites lived in cities called Idumea in the southern region of Judah especially, the Maccabees in the 2nd century before Christ decided to circumcise them and to convert them into this Jewish religion. So it was not long before Edomites started to control Judah. Even King Herod in the time of Jesus was an Edomite and not an Israelite. And just like we see today, these Edomites govern the whole place. They became even Sadducees, Pharisees, priests, and even the king. Jesus said, I did not come but for the lost house of Israel. To Judah first, then to the nations where the lost sheep were. But these Edomite Jews were not of his sheep. Let's take a look at what Jesus called them and what he told those Edomite Jews. So the Pharisees claimed to be of the seed of Abraham. And yes, they could trace some of the lineage back to Abraham because they came through Abraham Esau and Abraham Ishmael. That's how they claimed to be of Abraham. That's what Jesus said. I know that ye are Abraham's seed, but ye seek to kill me, because my word has no place in you. I speak that which I have seen with my Father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. They had different fathers. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said unto them, if ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the works of Abraham. But now you seek to kill me, a man that had told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Ye do the deeds of your father. Then they said to him, we be not born of fornication, we have one Father, even God. See, they knew exactly what Jesus was getting at. The biblical word for fornication means race mixing, right? The clear instructions to God's children was not to intermarry and make children with Canaanites, right? That's why Jesus called them the children of fornication, because Esau mixed with Canaanites, Hittites, and Ishmaelites. That's why they said, we are not born of fornication. And Jesus said unto them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. He's talking about Cain. Cain is the first murderer. Cain killed Abel, right? And the Canaanites descended from Cain. So they were not Israelites, they had a different father. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. Which of you convinceth me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of God, born from above, born from Adam, Abel, to Noah, to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. These are the children born of God. They hear God's words. Jesus said, my sheep hear my words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. Jesus was not talking to all the children of Israel, and he had a choice. If you don't believe what he says, then you're a children of the devil. And if you do believe what I said, then you are the children of God. This is not what Jesus was talking about. He was literally telling those leaders in Judah that they are the offspring of Satan himself. Jesus didn't say, some of my sheep will hear my voice. He said, my sheep hear my voice. And they were not of God. Therefore, they were not the sheep Jesus came for. So the Bible tells us that Jesus, the gospel, went to Judah first, where the remaining tribes were in bondage to this Edomite Babylonian system. They repented, followed Jesus, but it was only a small group. Jesus said, I did not come but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he didn't fail. The church teaches us that they vanished in history, or that they came back in 1948. No, Jesus came to reconcile them, so they had to be around somewhere. But if you look at my other videos, I explain it in depth who those sheep were. For example, Paul tells the Europeans that they are of the house of the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The gospel went into Europe. It was the European people who gradually developed the nations into Christian nations. So the gospel of reconciliation happened 2,000 years ago. There was no more difference between a Judean and a Greek. Not your false translations talking about Jews and Greeks. It's about Judeans, the Israelites who still kept the law, and the lost tribes who were divorced and had no longer God's law. There is no difference. Both will be reconciled in Christ. So Phillip Blair, the people you are preaching to in the Middle East are not God's Israel. According to Jesus, they are the sons of that wicked one, the serpent, the devil. They can't hear Jesus' words because they are not of God. And for the last 2,000 years, they have still rejected Jesus because Jesus is not their sheep herder. Because Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice. And now they even made laws in Jerusalem to make it illegal to preach about Jesus. They profess now, they wrote it down, that it is illegal. They don't want Jesus. And then you can be the thousands of the 6,000 preachers going there trying to make them return to God. They can't return to God because they are not of God. That's why Jesus told Nicodemus that you have to be born from above. They are not born from above. They are born from below. Just like God told the serpent that he will crawl on his belly for the rest of his days. They are born from below.
Or have you been cleansed of your sin? This can only be found through Yeshua HaMashiach. my friend, let me ask you, can I have a conversation with you? You are Jewish, my friend. Why are you not holding your brothers here in Israel accountable for the sin that Israel is in? We're going to celebrate wickedness and debauchery in Tel Aviv on June 8th. What are we doing? If you are a child of God, then why are you not standing for the holiness of God in Israel? My friends, is the blessings of God upon Israel? Have you turned away from the living God? Where is your heart today? Do you long to please God with your lifestyle? I love you, I care about you, and I want the blessings of God upon this city and upon this great nation. That you have been chosen by God as His people, not to puff you up in pride and arrogance, so that we love God, we love Elohim with all of our hearts, so that the blessings of Elohim can be on this great state of Israel. And I'm here because I love you and I want God to reveal and manifest His light and His love in your heart. And I believe that this is made possible through the shedding of the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach.